The Hindu editorial dictation heading is Forced Labor Falls. India should not let the USA's new tariffs push it towards a trade deal. Get ready? Start. The 10% tariff that the United States has imposed on India and several other countries over their imports of goods supposedly made using forced labor is merely an attempt to restore permanent tariffs and once again highlight the benefits of a trade deal with the USA. The US Supreme Court's February 2026 decision dealt a body blow to the USA's attempts to secure trade deals. The main threat of high reciprocal tariffs had been removed. US President Donald Trump's solution of a temporary 10% tariff on all countries suffered from two weaknesses. It would expire in 150 days and was levied on all countries equally, regardless of whether they had a deal with the US or not. Those tariffs have now expired. The Section 301 forced labor tariffs announced last week are more permanent and have carved out benefits for those with the trade deals with the US. For example, while US imports from India will face a 10% tariff over and above the base tariff the US charges everybody. The European Union and Taiwan will face a total tariff of 10%. Similar benefits have been accorded to Japan, South Korea, and Switzerland, all of which also have trade deals with the US at various stages of formalization. If stopping forced labor was the primary focus, tariffs would have been applied equally across all offenders regardless of trade deal status. The tariffs would also not have had as many product-wise exemptions and country-wise quotas as the final version has. There is also the question of whether the US should be penalizing other countries for their trade with third parties. India has not been accused of using forced labor yet faces tariffs because others have been. This soon after the US government told a court that it did not want to act as the war world police. India has done well to reduce the proposed 12.5% tariffs to a final 10%, the same as or better than most of its competitors. All it took was a notification banning the import of goods made using forced labor. The action itself will be difficult to enforce since it will require countries such as China and Malaysia to allow Indian government officials to visit and investigate their labor conditions. But simply issuing the notification won India a tariff reduction. However, uncertainty persists since the other Section 301 investigation on excess capacity is yet to play out and could result in further tariffs. It is highly unlikely that India will accept a trade deal until those tariffs become clear. That said, the tariffs should not push India towards a deal. Experience has shown that the US tariff landscape can change radically even after a deal is signed. Stop.